Hi there. So that will be the second video of our HR solution, and this video will be dedicated to the hiring process. So let's check first how it looks like here. So hiring consists of position that is opened, then collecting candidates, then probably collecting candidates via forms, with a web clipper, or maybe with having them based on their emails they send us with a CV, then having a couple of interviews, and then as you see, the only space hiring is connected to is employee management, and our candidate after hiring becomes an employee. So let's dive deeper into details. Okay, I'm opening my hiring space. As you see, we still have here same databases, same table as we had on the previous screen. Gmail here, in fact, is an integration. We will talk about this a little bit later. And you will have to set up your own integration for sure. So what first we have to know is probably that you can have your documentation right here. So you can describe the hiring process. How does it has to look like for the whole company? If you need more documents, that's okay. Here we have some nested documents if needed. So there are a lot of fancy stuff that you can use, like, I don't know, call AI assistant, some headings. So those documents, I would say, are pretty powerful to replace Google Docs, for example. And of course, they're collaborative one. You can like highlight, you can ask a question, you can mention other people, and etc. So let's say we defined what hiring for us is, and we are going to open a couple of positions. So the view that we suggest to have for the position overview is a board, because here it's like you may nicely and easy check which of them is open at the moment, how many candidates do you have any deadlines, whether some of the positions are paused at the moment, and you can also assign here HR managers that are responsible for closing this position. So here you can check the configuration of the view. I decided to make those cards look large to make it look like this. You can also, for example, group it like this. In this case, positions will be grouped by HR managers that are responsible, but I don't have that many users here in the system. So for me, it is not that helpful. Okay, let's open the lead developer position. Okay, like this. What do we see here? We see we published it already. What is missing at the moment, and what is also important, you also have some documents here. So you can publish, for example, job description. As you see, this one looks a bit more fancy than the previous document I showed to you. And you can also publicly share it. So like you can embed it to your website, you can just generate a link and publish it anywhere. So you can here store the job description, like test tasks for candidate, declining answer, interview suggestion, and probably these documents, they are unique per position. This is why they won't mess up in the left menu. So all the documents regarding this position live inside this position. And technically, they live in the documents extension right here. I just mentioned them like this. Okay, let's collapse it. What else do we have here? We see the state of the position. We see who is responsible for it. We have a deadline. We also have a formula. You can check out how formulas look like, but this formula calculates how many candidates do we have. So in the future, once we have more data, we will be able to create powerful reports. So which of the positions were like most popular, where we were missing candidates. I also have a kind of two fields with dates, hunting start and closed date. And the formula that is called days to close. So for example, if I say, okay, we closed it today, I see that the search took me 97 days. Again, in the future, once we have a bit more data, it will be possible to build powerful reports, like how many days do we spend on average to close the position, which kind of the positions are always the most complicated ones, etc., etc. So you will have very nice stats. Okay, so boom, 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 boom. What are we going? Yeah, so we have a lot of positions, and to start collecting the candidates, there are like multiple options, and probably the most popular one is just to have forms. So no need to integrate with kind of Google form or Typeform or whatever. You can just create a form in Fibri directly. So you can make it look pretty nice. You can make some fields required. People also may upload the files here as well, so like that is also possible. And you decide for which of the positions this form will be published for. And after that, you can share it, right? You can generate a link. Oh, sorry, it's shared already. So you will generate a link and you will be able to embed it to your website. So once someone fills in the form that is publicly shared, this candidate will appear in your candidates pipeline. Here in the housekeeping space, there is an education material document, and inside I collected all the user guides that you will need to understand how technically features work. So for forms, there is a special user guide that you may just use to understand how to create your own form. So let's probably focus on the next part. Yeah. So what else? How else can you collect the candidates? You can create them from emails. Like if someone sent you email to your inbox, for example, hiringyourcompany.com, then please create as a candidate. Or as an option, if you're like proactively searching, for example, in LinkedIn or in professional communities, although we don't have native integration with LinkedIn, but we have a web clipper. So you can just install this browser extension like to your browser, and once you see a nice candidate, you just clip it and it will appear as a candidate in your candidate database. The link to how the web clipper works you will also find in the educational materials, so just keep it in mind. Okay, so yeah, okay, we collected a couple of candidates. You see there are like some stages the candidate is passing through. Let's open probably Winnie Null's card. As you see, state lives here, and if you have different stages, like this is still a no-code tool, nothing is hard-coded, you can just add your own stages. Like this is probably our suggestion only. You see who is responsible for this candidate. For example, if for position you have like 3 HRs, you can track which of the candidates has which kind of responsibility person. Like here, I can also have a phone, the email, if you need to collect other kind of data. I don't know, for example, we want to have years of experience as a separate field. That's super easy. You can just add in your field, probably the number, call it years of experience. Unit will be years. Okay, and this is it. So, and let's say he has 15 years of experience. I know this looks weird, but this is just an example that anything that comes to your mind and our template is missing, you can just simply add as a field. Okay, so yeah, we have some fancy information which this candidate is about. And what else do I know about this candidate? I see here 2 interesting things. First, I see the file. I can download this CV that he sent me before. And also here I will have probably all the files that he sent to me. So for example, if he was doing a test application, you can also download it and link it here. You can also like comment, for example, ask your colleagues that were on the interview to comment what do they think about this candidate, whether we have to invite him or not, etc., etc. So this card will store all the information about the candidate that we really need. And as you see, we also have a list of interviews that we have with this wonderful candidate. So if you invited him to the interview, it makes sense to store the notes of the interview directly under this candidate. So if I open the interview, as you see. Here I may also see, okay, what was he about? What was like his pros, cons, where he's strong at? I see wonderful comment like, let's hire him. So based on the flow, you can also ask teammates to comment about this interview in particular. Okay, that was long ago, so we scheduled another one and we can like open and check it out. I think there will be no data here because this one haven't happened already. And of course, I see the interviews directly under the candidate, like, a granular view. But I also have a common overview on such a board that is called interviews by state. Here I see all the interviews across all the candidates, across all the positions that we have. And let's make this probably size of the cards a bit larger, and like it's just makes for me more sense to see it like this. And again, you see states here are a bit different. So if I open any interview, I can change the states the way I like, the way I have in my company. I wish I could have my company. No. So probably the next question will be like, can I have this not as a board, but for example as a calendar, and where I will be able to see only those interviews that I'm assigned to as a HR manager? The answer is definitely yes. So in Fiber, you can create views that just show the data that we have already. So if you want to know more about views, databases, spaces, and related stuff, the educational material will be directly in the document above. So here we won't pause about this a lot. But I create a new calendar. What do I want to see in the calendar? I want to see here interviews. And okay, now I see all the interviews that they have. Oh my God, they all are tomorrow on Saturday. How professional of me. And probably I want here to turn on the filter. So I want to see only the interviews which I am assigned to as a manager. And I will call this calendar interviews. So as you see, all the interviews are in a single table that is called interviews. And I can just narrow down with views and filters to see exactly what I need. To be honest, I don't think that Fabric Calendar is super awesome, especially compared to Google Calendars. So probably it will be like, even if I have a week overview, then it will look like this. Or if I have a day, what do I have tomorrow? Like this. Well, it works. Does it look super cool? Well, I would say probably not, but this is just my preferences. Personally, I prefer to use Google Calendar for that and to sync Google Calendar events just to connect in a single place. It looks bad. Didn't have to experiment during the call, but it's okay. So I probably will not use the calendar, but for you, it's an example that you can visualize the data the way you prefer. And how filters also work, here have an upcoming interviews table. And here I just turned on the filter to see only interviews that date start is on or after today. So here I will see only future interviews sorted by the date, compared, because here I see everything everywhere all at once. Okay, and the last thing that we mentioned and promised to be back before is Google Calendar integration. So if I open a candidate, Winnie Null, I will scroll down a bit, and I see message Gmails here. So this is in the information that came up from Gmail integration. And I can check the emails that he sent us before. It is called first cover email. I see the message itself. I see to which of our domains it was sent to our hiringemail.com. Yes, I created them in advance. I see the email it was sent from puchfiber.io, and I see when it was sent, like long time ago on August 17. And from whom it was sent? It was sent from Winnie Null, and Winnie Null as a Gmail contact. So integration syncs contacts, and it also syncs messages. More about integration again will be better to read in the user guide, but the most important thing, as you see, candidate here is linked, like Winnie Null that we had talked about before, right? But I cannot change it manually, as you see, like I cannot choose another candidate, so I cannot change the candidate this email came from. Why? Because emails and candidates are connected automatically. It definitely makes sense because you can have, I don't know, hundreds of emails from potential candidates, and you don't have, to manually link, okay, these messages from this guy, these messages from this guy. Well, it just won't, like, the value compared to the effort spent is not equal, right? This is why it is done automatically. So you could just open the candidate and see all his emails in a single place. How does it work? You may check in our educational material detailed guide. By on a high level, let me edit it. We use something that is called automatic relations. So we said, okay, please check the email from the guys who sent us. This is puchfiber.io, and check whether among candidates we have someone who has the same email. And from Winnie Null, his email here is puchfiber.io. So in fact, it compares email addresses of the candidate and the one who sent the message from the Gmail and links them automatically based on that. So if your candidate will send an email not from like his from the email that you have in your base, then they will not be connected. So probably this makes some sense, I hope. And something for you just to see, to know the possibility that you can show it not only as a list, but for example, as a feed view. So you didn't have, to click a lot. You will be able just to see the message here, not as a list, but as a feed view. And this is probably it. Let's say we decided that Winnie now is an awesome man, or woman, who knows? Winnie can be a lady as well. And we decided to hire her or him. So what do? We say that Winnie now is hired, and Winnie becomes automatically our employee. And what does it mean? You will see in the next video.